What's up, my Finland loves? It's Miss Kandi coming to you all from Vienna Entertainment News. I've already figured out this whole drama surrounding their marriage. This is great TV. They are geniuses, right? I feel like it's all an act for TV. I'd rather a man who keeps it real with me at all times. That's just me. I don't see nothing wrong with Mark. He's just a no-nonsense type of person. I don't think it's a matter of Mark liking the women. He just doesn't see the need to beef with women unlike the other husbands. It's a mature standpoint. Now Kenya should know her husband not with the ish, so just don't even. Mark ain't got time for BS. He is just too real for this reality show. I don't think he intentionally tried to throw Kenya under the bus. He doesn't watch the show from what Kenya said, so he doesn't understand how things work on these shows. I absolutely love how Mark stays true to who he is and doesn't lose himself by the public opinion of reality TV viewers. He's not here to appease others. He simply made it clear that all is welcome unless otherwise necessary. And ain't no killers in this show, so stop being bleepy petty. He is a businessman and drama free, period. Honestly, I don't think Mark is mean or against Kenya. He's just not shady. He's just so brutally honest and a force of nature. He doesn't realize that he needs to chill in front of the cameras. And likely as a man, he's not brought up to. He's so upfront, so New York, it's almost scary. He's probably very quiet and reserved, and we may not even know it, but you have to realize we only see the parts that they capture, the parts they only want us to see. We don't see the quiet moments of caring. This is good TV, and that's why they are showing it. It's unfortunate for Kenya, but she is strong-willed. And with everything she has been through with her biological mother, I'm sure it will not break her. People have to realize there is more to the story. Same with all of their relationships. Same with our own. So as you can see, there are people who simply think that Marc Daly is just not here for the BS. Now, this is what I think. And before I even get deeper into the conversation, for those of you who don't watch The Real Housewives of Atlanta, the most recent episode on Sunday was focused on Kenya Moore and her family, okay? There were some amazing moments. I am aware that the last episode when Nene hosted that party was a little confusing and on the boring side to some people. So Bravo had to spice up, the most recent episode that we saw on Sunday. But it's just unfortunate that the negativity overshadowed such a beautiful, fun episode. I love the kickball moment. I mean, hell, Kenya even tolerated Malo. Okay, and vice versa. For the people who always say, oh, this went well because Kenya wasn't there with her energy. As you can see, that's a lie. The girls had fun. Everything was amazing. Malo giving Kenya a high five, all of that. They all put their differences aside and had an amazing time, okay? Because a certain energy wasn't in the room. What I noticed is that when certain people are in the room, then people start to act different, okay? And Sunday episode proved to you that these ladies can have a great time and put their differences aside when certain energies, are not in the room, okay? So I love that moment. Like I said, it's just sad that it got overshadowed by the negativity. I also love the moment with Kenya and her husband taking Brooklyn to swim.
1, 2, 3.
Look at that smile. You're a superstar. White superstar.
All right, so now we're going to sing Humpty Dumpty.
Of course, they had to add moments in there where, they're having fun and having a certain conversation and Mark's face looked like he doesn't care, all of that. I get it. Some people were highly upset due to the comments that Marc made when he was saying basically next time Kenya will be the one going in the water with Brooklyn, and she wouldn't be coming back and things like that. So I understand all of that. Now, if you missed, I did 2 videos, okay? I talked about Portia comments that she made, the whole Dennis and I gang. I made a completely separate video about that. I also made a completely separate video on Cynthia Bailey and Mike Hill argument, all of that, okay? Because I just want to focus on Kenya and her husband's situation in this video. So let's move and fast forward to the bowling alley, okay? It was also a beautiful moment. They got out of the car. They were holding hands. They got in the bowling alley. Kenya and her husband, they both have this dry humor, and they were having fun and everything was all good. Now, Kandi did a video, and she did say in that video that she knows Marc and Kenya outside of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's hung out with them, and she's seen them being in love and all of that. Of course, you heard what Nene said. I've been around Kenya and Marc, and I've never seen them, be affectionate and all of that. But Kenya and Nene are not friends. So, of course, she's never around them off the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So that's what Kandi had to say in her video. I think it's around the 5 minutes and 11 seconds mark or something like that. But what I do have to say about that is, like, Kandi, why wait until you get on? Just speak on it on YouTube. Talk about it. Why didn't you say it in your confessionals on the show? Like, I don't understand why they're going through this, because I've been. Then again, the producers will do any and everything because this is the narrative right now that Kenya and Marc are not doing well. Kandi said something and, it was deleted. Whatever the case might be, let's get to Marc's behavior towards Kenya Moore. I'm not here for it. Absolutely not. There's a lot of people I noticed making excuses for Marc, but I'm not here for the way that Kenya was treated, okay? Marc is looking at this at face value. To him, I'm a man. So what my wife have issues with Nene or anybody else? I am not about to be a part of women business, okay? I want no parts of it. Whatever issues you have with Nene, honey, y'all figure it out and fix it. I want no parts, okay? So I want everybody to come to this charity event. I want to get along with everybody. I don't want to be a part of the mess. And now if I start saying you can't come and you can come, then what I have done as a man is insert myself in women business, and that's not the type of time that I'm on. But I guarantee you 100%, if there's a man who's disrespected Marc Daly, who tried to fight Marc Daly, who attempted to spit on Marc Daly, and then insulted his family and his unborn child, and then his wife Kenya Moore saw that man and ran up to him, hugged him, had a conversation with him, and whatever the case might be, and basically tell her husband, F you, I don't have a problem with him, so I'm going to stay in touch with him. I guarantee you 100% Marc Daly will flip. That will not fly, and I wish Kenya will flip it on him and ask him that question. How would you feel if I did that? I guarantee you, as this man who's trying to behave like I'm a man and his ego is so disturbing, he would throw a tantrum. That's exactly what Marc Daly is doing to his wife, basically telling her her feelings are not valid and being dismissive. Now, I know people might say, but, Milo came and Kenya and Milo were able to get over the differences, or not get over, put it aside for a few minutes to just have fun. You have to understand that event was Kenya and Kandi. So, of course, Kandi invited Milo, and Kenya wasn't going to ruin, her event and Kandi event, so she just went ahead and put up with Milo. But the difference is, I want you guys to understand, I remember when Kenya came to Cynthia Bailey event. Now, had Kenya walked in there and went straight, for Nene and just, went in on her and all that stuff, then I will understand Nene's level of anger that, see, this is why I didn't want her to come in the first place, because I know and I knew she was going to use me to have a moment and all of those things, right? I will understand, okay? But for Kenya to walk in that room completely pay Nene dust, okay? She didn't say a word to that woman, because Kenya said, if I'm going to come back on this show, I'm going to come back because I want to and on my name, not because I had a moment with Nene. You understand what I'm saying? So when Kenya walked in there, she said hi to the people who wanted to say hi to her. And she moved around. She did not have any encounter with Nene. She did not do anything to Nene. Like nothing. And that's when Nene basically went to the insults and all of that. So if my presence have the ability to get another human being so mad to the point where even though I'm not doing anything upsetting to them, I'm not even in their personal space, I came, I said hi, and I left them alone, and yet they're still attacking me, insulting me, and all of that. I don't want to ever be around that energy, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Yes, I understand it was a charity event. Yes, I get it. You don't tag Greg and not tag Nene, that's his wife. I understand all of that, but one thing I will applaud Kenya on is that she's not fake, okay? Everyone knows that, you know what, I'm not here for Nene and I'm not going to fake it. I'm going to say hi because I can be polite and say hi, but I don't need to be hooked up on her. We don't need to have a conversation. Any chances of us ever being, friends or colleagues in the way where we're hanging out and laughing and all of that, is done. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. They're just people that you don't get along with, and it's okay. But as far as their job goes, they can be in the same room. It's just that Nene now can't be in the same room with Kenya without attempting to be physical, to attack her and all of that. So I love that Kenya wasn't fake in that moment when Nene walked in. Also, I'm going to do a separate video because people went in the comment section, basically reminding Nene and everybody else who were coming for Kenya that she did the same thing a few seasons ago when Kenya tried to hug her and she completely ignored Kenya and, left Kenya hanging. What goes around come back around. Let's not forget Nene did this to Kenya. Well, why invite her? Marc invited them. If it was up to Kenya, she wouldn't have had her there at all. I just said the same thing. Hello, sure did. That's like the bedroom candy party in season 7 where Kenya tried to hug Nene. Nene didn't move her arms. I'm here for the petty payback. Remember back in season 7 at Kandi little event for her bleep tours, Kenya tried to hug not Nene, oh my gosh, snatch away from her. Kenya is reciprocating that same energy. Sure did. How easily do people forget Kenya ain't fake? Basically, this person is saying, almost got physical last time they saw each other and they haven't had a positive interaction with each other since season 10. If she had just come in and said a simple hi, I would agree with you, but all of that was beyond fake, and I don't blame Kenya for paying her dust. Nene has done the same to Kenya several times in the past herself. Has either been ignoring Kenya or fighting with her all season long, but now Marc is here and she all of a sudden wants to be nice to Kenya. Like the last time they saw each other, they had to be pulled apart by security, but now she wants to give her a hug. She was obviously doing all of that to get under Kenya's skin. It was beyond fake, and if the roles were reversed, everyone would be calling out the BS. Now, I'm not a Kenya fan nor stan, but what you are saying is very correct. The Nene stans and Kenya haters would have a field day calling her out, and also Nene would have done like 50 million blogs on how Kenya treated her. Speak on it. Speak on it. Candy voice. This person basically is like, Kenya say hi. She's allowed to say hi without being fake. So I'm telling you, in here for the fake-ish. Shows how real she is versus Nene. At all. That's why I can appreciate her more than a lot of the other women. So this is no shocker that, okay, Kenya did the same thing and now it's a problem. You know, Kenya told him that she did not want Nene to come when he was with her in Brooklyn at the pool. And then they talked about it. And then he goes to the party, he goes to the bowling alley and make it look like they didn't talk about it at all. Another thing is, I think Nene is so upset that she feels like she's the HBIC, she's the queen, right? So she feels like she tilted her crown and came all the way down, reached out to Kenya over 10 times, did all of these things to let Kenya Moore know that she's sorry and that she wants to be cool with her, and because Kenya rejected her. And that's the part that's pissing her off. That somebody actually didn't fall for her BS and told her, it's cool, I'm good. Most of you are aware that, you know, Kenya's situation with her mother and all of that. Kenya have said over and over again that, yes, her grandmother did an amazing job, but she still didn't feel like she was protected as a child. She still didn't feel like anyone had her back. Kenya suffered from abandonment issues and all of that, okay? So for her to finally get married and for her husband to still abandon her, okay, and take up for complete strangers, I know that is crushing her, okay? And then to see your friends on the side laughing and all of that. So once again, here we are, Kenya is all alone, all by herself, and there's no one there that have her back. Okay, not even her own husband. But she's so strong, she's used to this life, and so she was able to handle herself well. What I mean by Kenya Moore is protecting her husband. Kenya said in a few episodes ago that Marc plays dirty. This woman who is self-made, who bought her house cash, okay, and paid for the renovations, okay, with her own money, that this self-made woman, the cars that she drives, everything is Kenya. Kenya Moore hair care is all her. For her husband to come on national television because he's upset that his wife decided to stand up for herself when he was like, we have to put the house in order first at that couple's dinner. And Kenya was like, my house is paid for. Now, maybe Marc was talking about their house, not literally a house, but like their house, their marriage and stuff like that. But Kenya was like, my house is paid for, whatever the case might be. And because he was so upset that his wife put him in check, he goes and he says that Moore hair care was a mess until he came along. Out of embarrassment, she simply just smiled and said, Marc plays dirty. We live in a day and age that it doesn't matter how hard you worked. You say the wrong thing or you do the wrong thing and you can lose it all within seconds. That's the day and age that we live in, okay? So yes, Marc Daly has a successful business. You know, he will still have his customers. People will still go and, you know, eat at his restaurants and things like that. But I'm sure Kenya have seen Marc Daly at his lowest. She's fully aware that he can go very low, and that when he goes low, it's more disturbing and disgusting than what we are seeing on TV. But she's also witnessed the beautiful and loving side of her husband. And she's hoping that her husband snaps out of it and that beautiful and loving side returns. So the reason why she's not going back and forth her husband on TV, one, because obviously, you know, she respects him and don't want to, you know, face the embarrassment with the two of them going back and forth in front of their friends. So to just avoid all of that, she's just like, you know what, I'm just going to fall back. And secondly, it's because she knows his ego is so disturbing that he might do or say something so disgusting that there's no coming back from it. Like he might embarrass his family even worse to what we're seeing right now. Right now, you have people saying things like, oh, Marc just not here for the BS. Marc don't want to be involved in female drama. We don't see no problem with what he's doing. Oh, big deal. At least he's not cheating. This, that, and the third. So Kenya feels like she can bounce back from that. But there are times where you might have something going on behind closed doors that even though it might be shameful, you are strong enough to overcome it and move on and still walk with your head held high. But then when that thing is exposed to the public, the embarrassment is so heavy that even you yourself have to walk away. And so Kenya just felt like, leave Marc alone. Let him make a fool out of himself and let him go ahead and feed this little ego of his. I'm not even going to engage in it because I know what he's capable of. She's thinking about this man's business, okay, as a businessman. She's thinking about this man, okay, decided to come on this show and support me. And in as much as he is responsible as an adult for his own actions, he's not media trained, all of that. I'm not going to sit back and watch my husband lose everything he's worked so hard for. So you know what? I'm going to protect him. I'm going to fall back. Let America laugh at me, whatever the case might be. But I'm going to protect him because I know that if I go there with him, he might say something so disgusting to me. He stands for as a man, his reputation would even be worse than what it is now. And so even in the midst of it all, she is still protecting her husband. So, people might say, but why? Why are you protecting this man after all of the embarrassment? He was the one who went to the public with, the news that the both of you are separating, and then you follow up with the divorce statement and all of that. He did that, then even with everything he's done, you are still trying to work on your marriage and he continues to do things. So why are you protecting this man and not just, going there with him and allowing America to see an even, terrible side of him? That is still her husband, like I said. That is still the father of her daughter. That man is attached and connected to her for the rest of her life. Hell, she didn't have no kids with the other guy. She wasn't even married to him. And every time he gets in trouble, what does the headline read? Kenya Moore X, ... Exactly. So Marc Daly will forever be attached to her. And she's like, you know what? The damage is done. But there's still people who are still seeing the bigger and better side of Marc and leaving comments like, he's just a no-nonsense type of person. Marc didn't do anything wrong. People are still supporting him. So let's just leave it at that and let's not add any more to it. And overall, she still loved the man. Of course, I'm not saying Kenya Moore is a saint in any of this. She didn't do anything wrong or she doesn't do things behind the scenes that we don't see. I'm not saying any of that. Right now, we're focused on what Marc Daly said, what he did, and what I think the reason is for her not coming at him the same way how he comes at her, and that's my reason, okay? She's not retreating because she's afraid of Marc. She's being abused, and oh my God, we saw the other crazy dude that was on this show. It didn't matter how crazy he was. Kenya didn't care about keeping the man. Her safety came first. That woman would never put her daughter in harm's way and in a toxic situation. I know that for sure. Brooklyn comes first. Kenya said it over and over again. No one protected her when she was a kid, and she would do any and everything for Brooklyn. And if that means leaving her marriage because it's toxic, she's done. She said it. People also think that we are witnessing Kenya being abused, and everyone is laughing when it's serious. She's being emotionally abused behind the scenes. Now, I'm not saying that Kenya don't have her moments. I'm not saying that, she's not human and might tolerate certain things from Mike. I am saying is that Kenya Moore is not desperate to the point where she's going to stay in a situation where she's being abused. Another thing is, I don't understand a big deal. I guess it's Kenya. So yeah, because I know a Cynthia. I call her Cindy. I call her Sin. Okay? The same way how the people call the girl from Love and Hip Hop Sin Santana Sin. Okay? Portia call her daughter PP, PJ. Sometimes Dennis call her Portia. Sometimes Dennis call her P. So I don't understand what was so shocking for Mark to say Ken. If he want to say Kenya, I want to call his wife Ken. I didn't understand what was shocking. Now, I get it. You might say, okay, his tone, he might raise his voice, his tone sounded aggressive and all of that. I get that part, but I didn't see the big deal about him calling his wife Ken. People call people nicknames all the time. So, but like I said, Kenya Moore even breathe. Entire earth is about to end because Kenya Moore woke up and breathed. I mean, they blow up everything. Lastly, another support that I noticed is that in all of this mess, right, there are people, I don't want to throw race into it, but there are people, especially black men, that are saying things like, in a space where, the women normally, talk down to their husbands, say things like if they don't work, their husbands don't eat, and just treat their husbands like, trash and talk to them any kind of way because of whatever reason. It's nice to see a woman, in as much as it's hard to watch Kenya go through that, it's nice to see her choose her battles and say, you know what, I'm not about to embarrass myself and argue with my husband publicly and embarrass the both of us. And so you have people saying, you know what, kudos to Kenya Moore in that department, because when it comes to the girls, there's no comparison. These girls are her co-workers. She have one or two, I use the word friend loosely based on the actions towards her. So arguing in front of the camera and in front of America, that's different because those are her co-workers and that's her job. When it comes to her husband, her marriage, that's completely different. And Kenya wanting to protect her marriage and not go there with her husband is also being applauded. So either way you look at it, there are still people who are out here supporting Kenya and, and applauding her for her actions, for not just going there with her husband and making a fool, of the both of them and just allowing him to do that all by himself. This is my fourth attempt to record this video. Okay, so if you feel like I missed an important point, I didn't add something, I will do it in a part 2 or something, just listed below. But I really do want to get this video to all of you, so I'm just going to leave it with what I have because I don't want to touch it and cause any more issues. I've been having uploading issues and all of that, but I'm going to say what I've been saying from the beginning of Kenya and Marc Daly separation announcement, because one moment they're together and the next moment they're not. So whatever the outcome is, whether it's together or not, I'm wishing them the best. I know that I trust Kenya and she will always make the best decision for herself and also for our adorable Brooklyn. So whatever it is, yes, we saw them together and all of that, but you never know with these two, okay? So whatever it is, I wish them the best. The end of here, my final loves. Thank you all for your love and support. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and leave this video a thumbs up. Also turn on notifications so when I do post, you're aware that I posted. And I will see you all in the comment section. Remember to always have the God bless attitude, which is being positive at all times and seeing the good in every situation. Have a great day, guys. God bless.